Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are tackling something I think, well, pretty much everyone struggles with at some point. That constant feeling that 24 hours in a day just isn't quite enough.
It really is the great equalizer, isn't it? Time.
Yeah.
Everyone gets the exact same amount.
Right.
But, for some people, the day feels packed with accomplishment, with meaning.
Yeah.
And for others,
Yeah.
it just seems to disappear, like into a fog of half-done tasks and, let's be honest, a lot of scrolling.
Oh, absolutely. We've all been there, staring at the clock, that big, important task looming over you, knowing you should be doing it. But somehow, suddenly, it's 3 hours later, and you've just binge-watched half a season of something completely trivial, or fallen down that endless social media rabbit hole. We push off what really matters.
And then that habit, procrastination, becomes this really corrosive thing. It eats away at your potential.
It's not just annoying, is it? It actually costs us.
Yeah.
Financially, psychologically.
Absolutely. Just think about it for a second. If you could take all those hours, the ones currently spent on distractions, and just channel them into meaningful work, or maybe deep learning, or even just nurturing important relationships.
The opportunities would just explode, wouldn't they?
Exponentially. The potential for both personal and professional growth is huge.
So, okay, that's our mission for this deep dive. It's ambitious, but we're going for it. We're digging into the strategies, the core principles that actually let us use our time effectively.
Right. It's about gaining real insight into productivity, what it really is, understanding why we procrastinate, and then, crucially, getting the practical steps needed to become the master of your time.
Becoming the master of your time. I like the sound of that.
It's about transformation, really. Learning how to manage your energy, your focus, and then pointing that precious, limited resource towards the things that genuinely move your life forward, day after day.
Okay, let's get into the mechanics then. Section 1, energy, productivity, and that big one, procrastination. So, productivity. When we hear that word, I think most of us immediately jump to work stuff, spreadsheets, emails, just grinding it out. But the way it's defined here is much broader, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's not just about professional output at all. True productivity, the kind we're talking about, is really measured by your overall effectiveness. And that definitely includes your well-being.
Okay.
So it's directly linked to maintaining good, healthy relationships with your friends, your family, while at the same time engaging in work that feels important and meaningful to you.
So being a master of your time means using it wisely across, everything. Health, work, hobbies, relationships.
Exactly. It's holistic. Think about it. If you double your output at work but completely wreck your health or your marriage in the process, have you really been productive?
No, not in any sustainable way. Okay, so how do we start measuring this broader kind of success?
Well, productivity itself seems to hinge on a couple of key things you can actually work on. First, your level of commitment, the dedication you bring to whatever you're doing. And second, how effectively you manage the tasks themselves. And, this is critical, the energy you invest in them.
Energy. That feels like the real currency here.
It absolutely is. We have to recognize, that our energy levels aren't constant. They fluctuate all day long.
Right. Trying to tackle your hardest, most brain-draining work when you're already wiped out.
It's a recipe for failure. Guaranteed. Like trying to run a marathon on an empty tank.
Yeah.
So it's about understanding and respecting your own biological rhythm, your chronotype, basically. The principles suggest that for most people, energy, both mental and physical, tends to peak in the morning.
The early hours.
Yeah, those first couple of hours. So being strategic, placing your most essential, high-priority stuff right in that peak window, that can massively boost your effectiveness. It makes the time spent much more valuable.
Okay, so let's walk through this energy cycle then. It sounds like a framework for actually managing that energy, not just being subject to its whims. There are 6 phases.
6 phases, exactly. And it starts with the absolute foundation. Conserve energy.
Conserve, okay, like resting.
It's more active than just resting. It's about actively building your energy reserves. So, yes, improving sleep quality is huge. Making sure it's deep, restorative sleep, not just clocking hours. But also eating nutritious food that gives you sustained energy, and regular exercise to build stamina.
Right, if you skip that foundation.
The whole thing collapses pretty quickly. You can't create or channel energy you don't have.
Okay, so once you've built that reservoir, phase 2 is create energy. That sounds a bit counterintuitive after conserving. What does create mean here?
This is about strategic deployment. It means knowing exactly where and how you're going to apply your energy once it's available. It's about generating positive momentum, Maybe it's setting up your workspace just right or clarifying your specific goal for the next hour, or even just mentally psyching yourself up for a challenge. You're focusing your intention.
Got it. So you've created that focused intention. Phase 3 must be about direction, channel energy.
Precisely. Channeling is directing that focused energy specifically into the most important tasks, the ones that actually align with your big picture priorities. This stops you from, opening your laptop full of energy and then immediately wasting an hour on trivial emails.
Right, creating a direct pipeline to the high value stuff.
Exactly, which leads straight into phase 4, which is really the goal, immersion.
Deep work territory.
This is where you fully engage. You're eliminating distractions, physical ones, digital ones, even mental chatter. You're letting that channeled energy sink deep into the task without all the constant shallow interruptions that kill modern focus.
Yeah. And after that intense immersion, phase 5 is crucial but often messed up. Break.
Oh, definitely. This is where people often sabotage themselves. They stop working, but they take a break by doing something else that's also draining or distracting, like scrolling social media.
Right, not really a recharge.
A proper break needs to be actively restorative. Stand up, stretch, walk around, get some water, look out the window, something away from the screen usually. Keep it relatively short, maybe 10-15 minutes so you don't lose momentum, but make it effective enough to clear your head.
And finally, phase 6 is just restart.
You begin the cycle again, conserve, create, channel. Mastering this continuous loop, day in, day out, that's a massive first step towards time mastery. #BNE.
Okay, so that's managing the internal energy state. Now moving to the external side, structuring the work itself. The sources lay out this progressive framework. The 5 levels of productivity. It feels like a ladder, helping you climb from maybe chaos to control.
That's exactly the idea. It's a step-by-step ascent, and you can start wherever you are right now. Level 1 is the absolute bedrock, and it's deceptively simple. Remove distractions.
And honestly, if you can't nail that first level, nothing else really works, does it? The best plan is useless if your phone's buzzing every 2 minutes.
Spot on. Distractions are the mortal enemy of focused effort. So once you get a handle on minimizing those, level 2 loops, right back to our energy discussion. Boost energy levels.
Right, bringing enthusiasm.
You have to approach your tasks with genuine vitality, using that conserved and channeled energy we talked about. Low energy just equals low output, plain and simple, even if you manage to focus somehow.
Okay, distractions down, energy up. Level 3 requires looking ahead. Define specific visions and goals.
Yeah, if you don't know what you're supposed to be focusing on, how can you focus? This level forces you to clearly identify the essential tasks, the ones that actually move you towards your long-term vision. They need to be specific, measurable.
The actual targets for your focused energy.
Exactly. Then, level 4 gets operational. It's about the mechanics, the planning system. This is your to-do list, your time framework for the day.
Now, this is where a lot of people get stuck, right? They look for the perfect, complex app or system.
And that becomes its own form of procrastination.
Yeah.
The advice here is really clear. Your system does not need to be complicated, especially at first. Forget the fancy apps for now. Seriously, just start with a pen and paper.
Really, just pen and paper.
Keep it super straightforward. The goal initially is consistency, just building the habit of planning. Once you have a simple system that you actually use every day, then you can start tweaking it, maybe adding tools as you get more advanced. But perfectionism in choosing the tool is just another way to avoid starting the work.
Okay, I like that. Permission to start simple. And level 5 is interesting because it brings us back full circle to that holistic idea, active social life.
Yeah, you have to consciously make time for and maintain your connections, family, friends, community. If your drive for productivity leads to isolation or burnout or strained relationships, well, you haven't mastered time. You've just become a disconnected work machine. And that violates that core definition of true productivity. Meaningful connection is part of meaningful work. #C. Understanding and overcoming procrastination.
All right, now we get to the juicy part, the part that hits home for, I suspect, almost everyone listening. Procrastination. That silent thief of time, that habit that just weakens us. We need to get under the hood here. Why do we do it, even when we know better?
It's deeply psychological. The sources point to 4 main reasons, these sort of core barriers, and each one needs a specific action-focused solution. The first big one is just fuzziness. The task is unclear, or its importance isn't really felt.
The vague dread. You know you should do it, but it feels murky or overwhelming, so you just avoid.
Exactly. That ambiguity triggers avoidance. So the solution is immediate interrogation. Don't let it sit there generating anxiety. Ask yourself, straight up, Do I really believe this task matters for my long-term goals?
Okay.
Then, force yourself to identify the positive outcomes of getting it done. And maybe even more powerfully, spell out the negative consequences if you don't do it. What's the cost of inaction?
Creates internal leverage.
Right. Then visualize the feeling of relief, of satisfaction when it's finished. And here's a little trick. Try telling yourself it's actually easy to start, just the first step. If it still feels unclear after that internal dialogue, you absolutely must seek clarification. Ask your boss. Search online for examples, whatever it takes to make it concrete.
Got it. Clear the fog. What's the second reason we procrastinate?
This one's huge.
Yeah.
It's not knowing how motivation works, coupled with mental barriers. We tend to wait around hoping for this magical bolt of motivation to strike before we begin.
Yeah, I'll do it when I feel like it, which is often.
Yeah.
Never.
Precisely. That's probably the single most destructive myth about productivity. The crucial insight here is this. Motivation does not come before you take action. It almost always comes after.
Action first. Feeling follows.
Action generates momentum. Momentum builds confidence. That generates motivation to keep going. Waiting to feel motivated before starting a difficult task, you'll wait forever.
Okay, so if the barrier is, this feels too hard, how do we force that first action?
You attack the perception of difficulty head-on. List out all the steps involved in the task. Then, be relentless.
Okay.
Break those steps down into the smallest possible non-intimidating actions. Writing a whole report feels impossible. Break it down to open the document, then write the title, then write the first sentence.
Tiny steps.
Tiny achievable steps. It bypasses that too hard mental block, lets you get started, and then the motivation kicks in from having actually done something.
Okay, makes sense. Reason number 3.
This is the perfectionist trap, often disguised as high standards. Fear of poor performance or failure.
Yeah. I can't start because it might not be perfect.
It's a natural fear, wanting our work to be good, but you cannot let it paralyze you. The key is to acknowledge the fear. Okay, I'm feeling scared this won't be good enough.
Yeah.
But then do the task anyway.
Easier said than done sometimes.
Of course. But the reality check is, almost everything can always be improved later. Perfection is an illusion, especially on the first try. So mistakes or imperfections aren't failures to be feared, they're just data. They're part of the process of learning and refining. The real failure is letting the fear stop you from producing anything at all.
Reframing failure as feedback. I like that. Okay, and the 4th reason.
This is just sheer overwhelm. Mental workload or feeling completely buried.
Right, when your to-do list feels like Mount Everest and everything seems urgent.
Exactly. Your brain loses perspective. Buying toothpaste feels as heavy as finishing that massive project. The solution here is to get it all out of your head and onto paper. Externalize the chaos.
Dump it all out.
Write down every single task, big or small, that's rattling around in your brain. Then categorize them. Maybe by effort required easy, medium, hard, or by project. Then the crucial step, allocate specific time slots for them in your schedule.
Put them in the calendar.
Yes, this act of organizing imposes structure, reduces the panic, and lets you start ticking off some of the easier wins, which builds momentum to tackle the bigger things.
Okay, with those core mechanics and procrastination busters in place, we can zoom out a bit. Let's talk about how we actually perceive time itself, past, present, future. These are mental models, right? And misusing them can really sabotage our productivity now. Let's start with the past. How does dwelling on it or misusing it hurt us today?
Well, we fall into these really destructive mental loops, don't we? We replay negative moments, failures, embarrassments, times we felt bad. We indulge in self-pity. And instead of just extracting the useful lesson from that past event,
We let it define us now.
Exactly. We allow those old memories, those old feelings, to limit what we think we're capable of today. The past becomes this cage, trapping us in a story of past disappointment.
Like, I messed up that presentation 5 years ago, so obviously I'm going to bomb this meeting today. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Precisely that. It's crucial to understand. Yes, you need to remember the past to learn from experience. But you should never, ever use it as a rigid predictor of your future performance or your current identity.
So what's the positive, productive way to use the past?
It's solely about extracting the lessons learned and using that data strategically. To strengthen your skills now, to adjust your approach now, to improve your present reality based on past feedback.
Okay, but how do we make that mental shift? How do we actively stop yesterday's failures from dictating today's effort, especially when that negative voice gets loud?
It takes conscious practice. There are 4 sort of active steps you can take. First, deliberately reflect on your achievements. Don't just dwell on the screw-ups. Make a list, even a mental one, of things you have accomplished, big or small. Build a counter-narrative of capability.
Okay, focus on wins too.
Second, actively practice separating your past self from your present self. You are literally not the same person you were 5 years ago, or even 5 months ago. Your cells have changed, your knowledge has changed, your present identity is forged by your choices now.
How do you do that separation in the moment when self-doubt hits?
When that negative memory surfaces, say that embarrassing mistake, you consciously interrupt the thought. You tell yourself, okay, that was the past version of me. I learned X from that experience, and this moment today requires a different response based on who I am now.
Acknowledge and redirect. Got it. What else?
Third, practice forgiving yourself and others. Holding on to resentment, guilt, grudges, it just consumes vast amounts of present mental energy that you need for productive work. It's like leaving a bunch of apps open in the background, draining your battery. Let it go.
Forgiveness is an energy conservation technique. Interesting.
And fourth, related to that, consciously, let go of painful events. When those old, limiting, draining memories bubble up, actively remove them. Don't dwell. Immediately replace that thought with a positive visualization of a future goal you're working towards. Starve the negative memory of attention. ###B, projecting the future.
Okay, so we've dealt with the past, extracting lessons, not limitations. Now let's look forward. Planning is obviously key to time mastery. But how do we plan effectively without getting bogged down in worrying about everything that could possibly go wrong?
Planning needs to be seen as a creative act, but one grounded in intentional certainty. You start by projecting what you want to become, who you want to be, that clear ultimate vision. Then you engineer backwards. You actively plan the specific steps, the concrete actions that will bridge the gap between today and that future reality.
So it's not just a vague wish list, it's more like an architectural blueprint.
Exactly, a living blueprint that needs detail and maintenance. As you look forward, you need to proactively identify potential roadblocks, distractions, time sinks, and plan to eliminate or navigate them before they derail you.
Okay, anticipate problems. But doesn't focusing on potential problems just create more anxiety?
There's a difference between dwelling on negativity and strategic anticipation. You don't worry about problems. You simply acknowledge possibilities and have contingency plans ready. If X happens, I'll do Y. This actually reduces anxiety because it builds resilience and confidence into your plan. You know you can handle bumps in the road.
Right, preparedness versus worry. Okay. But how do we inject the necessary excitement into this future vision to actually fuel action today? Long-term goals can feel abstract.
You connect emotionally. You start the action, the work today, by vividly visualizing those future goals coming true. Allow yourself to genuinely feel the excitement, the satisfaction, the pride of achieving them right here, right now. That emotional anchor links the future reward directly to the present task.
Feel it now to motivate the work now.
Exactly. But here's the absolute game-changer mindset shift for the future. As you plan and visualize, you must consciously, rigorously stop worrying about negativity. Don't allow what-ifs about failure to creep in. Instead, cultivate a firm belief and assumption that your future goals will come true exactly as you desire. That certainty, that unwavering positive expectation, is what liberates your present self to work without the drag of fear. ###receipt.
Okay, past is for lessons. Future is for planning and motivation. That means the present moment. That's where the action is, where energy gets channeled, where productivity actually happens. So what does it really mean to focus intensely on the present, on today?
It means embracing this powerful concept, viewing this single day as your micro-life.
Micro-life.
Yeah. Each day is a miniature version of your entire life. And how you live this micro-life, the choices you make, the energy you spend today, directly builds your macro life, your overall destiny, your long-term success.
Wow, that puts a lot of weight on today, doesn't it?
It does, but in a useful way. The insight is stark. If you consistently waste your micro life on trivial, meaningless, distracting activities, your macro life will be meaningless. You simply cannot build a great future by squandering today's finite resources.
It really forces you to ask, what am I doing right now that's building the future I say I want? Okay, so how do we strengthen our intention in the present moment to make sure this micro life aligns with the macro goals?
You have to become ruthless about the quality of your present activities. Ask yourself, is this activity challenging me? Is it adding real value? Will it be memorable in a positive way? Is it improving my health, mentally or physically?
A quality filter for the present moment.
Exactly. When you look back at the end of this specific micro life, at the end of today, you should feel a sense of satisfaction, maybe even pride. about how you invested your time and energy.
And that connects directly to that idea of wise energy investment, doesn't it? Choosing activities that build future capacity instead of just consuming time passively.
Absolutely. Think of your time and energy today as capital you're investing in your future self. When you spend an hour learning a valuable new skill, or 30 minutes exercising, or even just reading something deeply relevant, you're making deposits that'll pay dividends later.
Versus just watching hours of random online videos.
Which is like burning that capital. It's gone, and you got very little lasting value in return. Now, this isn't about becoming some kind of productivity monk, right? It's about conscious balance. The principles suggest, for instance, instead of maybe 4 hours of mindless scrolling or binge watching.
Cut it down.
Right. Be intentional. Say, okay, I'll allow myself 1 hour for pure relaxation entertainment, and then dedicate the other 3 hours you might have wasted to something important, something goal-aligned. You control that ratio. You invest your micro-life wisely.
Okay, we've got the mindset, the energy management, the procrastination plan. Now we need to make it stick. How do we drive sustained action day after day? What keeps us focused on executing those plans, especially when the big payoff feels far away?
It really anchors back to that long-term thinking we touched on. Keeping that distant, motivating vision clearly in mind is crucial. It helps you evaluate today's choices. Does this action move me closer to that vision or further away? It enables better decision-making in the present.
You won't trade a magnificent future for a trivial present comfort if the vision is strong enough.
Exactly. And the bridge, the practical mechanism connecting that future vision to today's actions, is one simple but powerful word: consistency.
Consistency, the holy grail.
It truly is the engine of all significant progress. What you do every single day matters infinitely more than what you do sporadically with huge bursts of effort. Think about learning a language or an instrument, or even getting fit.
Yeah, cramming doesn't really work long term.
Right. But if you commit to just, say, 30 minutes of focused practice every day, without fail, the cumulative effect over months and years is staggering. You'll look back and be amazed at the progress, all built on small, consistent, daily deposits.
The challenge, though, is maintaining it. Life happens, you get sick, things come up. How do you keep the consistency streak alive?
You lower the bar when necessary, but you don't break the chain entirely. The imperative is, try to do something, no matter how small, every single day. Even 5 minutes of language vocabulary review is infinitely better than 0. Even 1 push-up is better than none.
Keep the habit alive, even if the intensity varies.
Precisely. Consistency isn't about achieving peak performance every single day. It's about reducing the friction of starting, making the behavior automatic, and trusting that those small, incremental steps will compound into massive results over time. Hashtag maybe. Using urgency to push productivity.
Okay, consistency is the marathon strategy. But what about when we're stuck? When we know we should be consistent, but we keep falling back into procrastination? Can we use urgency like a sprint to break that cycle?
Absolutely. Procrastination loves ambiguity and open-ended timelines. We often give ourselves way too much wiggle room, too much "I'll start tomorrow" buffer time that just invites delay. So creating artificial deadlines and a sense of pressure can be incredibly effective.
How do we inject that urgency without just stressing ourselves out into paralysis?
One really effective method suggested is using a 90-day period as a focused sprint.
90 days, 3 months.
Exactly. It's long enough to make really substantial, visible progress on a single major goal, but it's short enough that the deadline feels real, tangible. It creates genuine urgency. So instead of "I'll start that project sometime," you say, okay, for the next 90 days, this is my primary focus.
And you push yourself to start now.
Right now. Maybe even aim to condense the work. In high-focus periods, you might try to accomplish what you normally planned for 4 days in just one intense day. It's about building momentum quickly.
That kind of focused intensity for a limited time sounds like a great way to break through inertia. But how do you maintain that pace within the 90 days? It could still feel long.
That's where frequent micro-deadlines come in. You take that big 90-day goal, let's say it's writing a book, and you break it down ruthlessly into smaller, quantifiable, trackable milestones.
Like deadline for the outline, deadline for chapter 1, deadline for the first draft.
It's exactly. Weekly goals, even daily targets. Setting these smaller, frequent deadlines does a few things. It keeps you accountable. It allows you to constantly track your progress, which is motivating, and you get the psychological boost of hitting those mini goals along the way, which fuels you to keep going through the whole 90-day push. Hashtag C. The mindset for meaningful time use.
Okay, so consistency provides the endurance, urgency provides the push, but how do we ensure that all this action, all this getting stuff done is actually meaningful? How do we avoid just being busy and make sure we're genuinely productive towards that macro life?
It requires a few crucial shifts in your day-to-day operating mindset. The first one is fundamental, and it's about the language you use with yourself. You absolutely must get rid of the limited mindset.
Which often sounds like,
The classic killer phrase, I don't have time.
guilty as charged.
We all say it. But constantly repeating, I don't have time, is really damaging. It basically signals either, one, you feel you have no control of your schedule, a lack of responsibility, or two, the thing you're saying you don't have time for isn't actually important enough to you, hence a lack of motivation.
Ouch. Okay.
Either way, repeating the phrase just reinforces the limitation. Nothing changes. The shift is to use empowering, action-oriented language instead. So instead of, I don't have time to call that client back, try, okay, my schedule is packed right now, but I will make time for that call right after I finish this report.
Taking ownership of the choice.
Exactly. You acknowledge the constraint, but you assert your control and intention. The second mindset shift is about awareness. Be self-aware.
Paying attention to where the time actually goes.
You have to. You need to track and understand honestly how you're spending your minutes and hours, how much time is genuinely lost to mindless scrolling, to busy work like reorganizing files for the 10th time just to avoid starting the hard task.
Holding up a mirror to your habits.
It's the only way to regain control. You have to see it clearly and accept personal responsibility for how your time is used. That's the prerequisite for using it more effectively.
Okay, ditch limiting language, become self-aware. And the third shift.
This is the ultimate filter. Be genuinely productive. This means ensuring that the tasks filling your day, the things you're doing, are in direct, clear alignment with your most important long-term goals.
Not just busy, but busy on the right things.
Precisely. If you're working hard but fundamentally moving sideways or even backwards relative to your macro life goals, you're just spinning your wheels efficiently. You need to constantly ask yourself that tough question, maybe every morning or evening. If I keep doing this specific task day after day, will it significantly contribute to my major goals 5 or 10 years from now?
That's a powerful filter, and if the answer is no,
Then adjustments are needed immediately.
yeah.
You need to reallocate that time and energy to something that does pass the test.
So once we align our actions with goals, how do we make sure the work itself is engaging? How do we find tasks that not only move us forward, but also, light us up and prevent burnout?
Yeah, that's crucial for sustainability. It requires a targeting system. First, get really clear on your core priorities, your unique strengths, what you're naturally good at, and your inherent abilities. Then, you evaluate potential activities using 5 specific criteria.
Okay, 5 criteria for choosing meaningful work. What's number 1?
The task needs to be genuinely exciting for you. If there's no intrinsic spark, boredom will set in fast, and procrastination will follow. You need to feel some pull towards the challenge.
Makes sense. Number 2.
The target activity must be clear. Ambiguity is the enemy of focus. If the goal is well-defined, you know exactly where to direct your energy, and just as importantly, what not to waste energy on.
Clarity enables focus.
3. This one's deep. It must align with your core values and life philosophy. This is non-negotiable for long-term fulfillment. For example, if a core value for you is, say, freedom and autonomy.
You shouldn't take on projects that require rigid micromanagement.
Exactly. You need to choose work that supports and reflects that core value. Trying to sustain effort on tasks that conflict with your fundamental beliefs is exhausting and ultimately futile.
Okay, value alignment. Number 4.
The work should make you feel alive. This often happens when you're operating at the intersection of your deeply held values and your best skills. It's that sweet spot where you feel both purposeful and competent.
That's the flow state zone, maybe?
It's definitely related.
Yeah.
And finally, criterion 5. Find tasks that challenge you and push you slightly out of your comfort zone.
Gotta have that stretch.
Yes, coasting doesn't lead to growth. By consistently choosing tasks that require you to learn, adapt, and expand your abilities, you unlock more of your potential and keep things interesting. That continuous challenge is vital.
All right, this next section feels like leveling up. We're moving beyond just managing the 24 hours we have into actively multiplying our time. How is that even possible? It sounds like sci-fi.
Well, it's not about bending the laws of physics. It's about using smart strategies and leverage to effectively increase the output and value you get from the time you invest. It's about compounding your time. There are 7 key strategies here.
Okay, lay them on me. Strategy number 1.
It's fundamental, but so many high achievers resist it. seek help.
Delegation. Asking for assistance.
Yes. Instead of burning hours, struggling with something outside your expertise, or just trying to do absolutely everything yourself, delegate it. Or have someone who knows better. Think about the learning curve for anything new. Why reinvent the wheel? If you need research done, maybe hire a freelancer for a few hours instead of spending a whole day figuring it out yourself.
Seeing delegation as an investment in your own time, not a cost or a weakness.
Precisely. Time is your most valuable asset. Protect it. Strategy number 2 builds on that. Think smart to shorten learning curves dramatically. Strategic information consumption. Need to learn a new software? Don't just fumble around for weeks. Find targeted video tutorials. Better yet, consider hiring a coach or taking a short, focused course from an expert who's already mastered it.
Get the condensed knowledge fast.
Exactly. Learning efficiently saves you huge amounts of otherwise lost time, which you can then immediately reinvest in high-value execution.
Okay. Strategy 3 is adopting a mastery mindset. This has subparts, right?
3 core components. First, master repetition. Practice key skills daily until they become automatic, almost subconscious. This frees up so much cognitive bandwidth. Second, master the fundamentals. Before tackling complexity, make absolutely sure you have the basics down cold, like proper form and exercise or core study techniques. Skipping fundamentals makes all future efforts weaker and slower.
Solid foundation.
And third, related to that, be always ready to learn. Adopt a mindset of continuous deliberate growth. Time mastery isn't a destination, it's an ongoing process of improvement.
Got it. Repetition, fundamentals, continuous learning. Strategy 4.
This is classic prioritization, but with a multiplication lens. Focus on most important things, MITs. You multiply your time's impact by ruthlessly focusing only on the tasks that generate the biggest results towards your key goals.
The vital few versus the trivial many.
Exactly. Before starting anything, ask, is this truly necessary? Is it urgent? Is it important? Filter relentlessly. And for efficiency, try batching similar tasks together. Do all your calls at once, all your emails at once. Use checklists to execute systematically.
Makes sense. Number 5 builds on the mastery idea. Actively improve your skills.
This is proactive time multiplication. An hour spent a day deliberately upgrading a key skill could save you potentially hundreds of hours of fumbling or inefficiency down the road. Take that short online course on advanced spreadsheet functions if you use them often. Learn keyboard shortcuts for your main software.
Front-loading the investment for future time savings.
Precisely. Number 6 connects time directly to finances. Save and invest wisely.
How does saving money multiply time?
Money creates options. Savings can be invested in your business, your career development, or tools that save you time later. It buys you future leverage and capacity. But the key behavioral shift here is managing your spending with your time in mind. Evaluate purchases based on their time cost.
Right, that example was powerful. That $900 phone isn't just $900. If you earn $15 an hour, it's 60 hours of your life.
Exactly. Calculating that time cost forces you to ask, is this item really worth 60 hours of my finite existence? Or could a cheaper option free up 30 of those hours for something more meaningful? It fundamentally changes your relationship with consumption.
Thinking in life hours, not just dollars.
Which leads directly to the 7th strategy. Use money to save time. If you valued your time highly, you can strategically spend money to buy back more of it.
Like hiring help for chores.
Exactly. Hiring a cleaner, using a meal delivery service, outsourcing administrative tasks that drain your energy but aren't your core value add. The more time you liberate for your high leverage, high value activities, the more effective you become. Potentially earning more, or simply having more time for what matters, creating a positive feedback loop. ###B, developing extraordinary focus.
Okay, so we're multiplying time's value, but the bedrock of making any time productive is focus. You said it earlier.
Right.
You can't control time itself, but you can control your focus. And focus is this precious, limited resource. What are the big focus killers we absolutely need to eliminate?
There are 4 main culprits that constantly break our concentration and drain that limited focus energy. Number 1, task switching. Constantly jumping between different complex projects or types of work.
The brain needs time to reload context.
Exactly. It leaves what psychologists call attention residue. Your brain is still kind of thinking about the last task, which slows down and degrades your performance on the new one. Minimize switches between deep work tasks.
Okay, number 2.
Interruptions. We often treat these as normal, especially in workplaces, but they're devastating to deep focus.
That quick question that takes 20 minutes to recover from.
It can easily take that long, or longer, to get back into that deep cognitive state you were in. You have to protect your focus work blocks fiercely. Number 3, constantly checking emails and notifications.
The siren call of the inbox or the phone buzz?
It's pure attention scattering. Each check pulls you out of focus and invites task switching. Schedule specific, limited times for checking these things. Don't let them dictate your attention flow. And number 4, doing unnecessary tasks at the beginning of your focus block.
Like tidying your desk for half an hour before starting the actual work.
Or answering a bunch of unimportant emails first thing. Don't squander your peak energy window, usually the morning for most people, on low-value activities. Hit your most important, challenging task first when your focus is strongest.
Eliminate the killers. Okay, so how do we actively cultivate that laser-sharp focus?
3 key practices. First, identify the right task, your most important thing, and commit to focusing on only that task for a sustained period. Aim for at least 45 minutes, completely uninterrupted.
A dedicated focus block.
Second, treat focus like a muscle. Practice deep concentration daily. Actively work on eliminating all potential distractions, physical and digital, during those focus blocks. It gets easier with practice.
Train your attention span.
And third, strategically apply the 80-20 principle, the Pareto principle, to your task selection before you even start your focus block.
Right, the idea that roughly 80% of results come from 20% of the effort or activities.
Exactly. Look at your to-do list for the day or the week. Realistically, which 1 or 2 items, the 20%, are going to deliver the vast majority, the 80%, of the meaningful progress towards your goals? Identify those high-leverage tasks and dedicate your absolute best, deepest focus to them. Don't give equal attention to everything.
Focus disproportionately on what matters most, like maybe promoting a new product versus answering routine inquiries.
Precisely. One might yield huge results with focused effort, the other just maintains the status quo. Filter constantly through that 80-20 lens to ensure your precious focus is invested for maximum return. ###CSC. Achieving the flow state.
So the ultimate peak of focus, the state where work feels effortless and enjoyable, where time just melts away. That's the flow state, right?
That's it. It's that psychological sweet spot where your brain is fully immersed in a task that is challenging but achievable. You're so engaged that your focus naturally pushes away distractions, self-consciousness, even negative thoughts. It's peak performance and peak experience rolled into one.
And it's not just luck when it happens. We can actually set the stage, engineer our environment and routines to make flow more likely.
Absolutely. It's far less mysterious than people think. It relies heavily on structure and preparation. Step 1 is critical. Create and strictly follow daily routines.
Routine triggers flow.
Yes. Don't wait for inspiration to magically strike. You have to show up consistently. Work on your most important flow-inducing tasks at the same time, in the same place every day if possible. Use a clear trigger, maybe a short meditation, putting on specific music, brewing a certain type of tea to signal to your brain, okay, it's flow time now.
Condition yourself for focus.
Yeah.
Okay. Step 2.
Back to basics. Eliminate distractions. This is non-negotiable for flow. Turn off all notifications, phone, computer, everything. Use noise-canceling headphones if needed. And crucially, communicate your boundaries. Let colleagues or family know you need uninterrupted time during these specific blocks. Protect the flow environment.
Build a fortress of solitude for your focus time.
Essentially, yes. And the final set of practices involves enhancing your overall capacity for concentration, even when you're not in a designated flow session.
How so?
Engage in activities outside of work that build focus. Hobbies that require deep attention, like playing chess, learning music, detailed crafting. Read complex books that challenge your concentration span. And, counterintuitively, allow yourself pockets of boredom.
Boredom helps focus.
Yes. Constant stimulation trains our brains for distraction. Allowing your mind to wander sometimes, without immediately reaching for your phone, can actually be a precursor to creativity and deeper insights. It lets your subconscious work. And finally, never, ever underestimate the power of regular restorative breaks. Trying to force flow when you're exhausted is counterproductive. Take breaks before you feel fried to sustain your capacity for deep focus over the long haul. #outro.
Wow. Okay, that was quite the journey. We started just wanting to feel like 24 hours is enough, and we've unpacked this whole system. It goes from managing energy and beating procrastination all the way to fundamentally reframing how we view time itself, past, present, future, and even using strategies to effectively multiply it.
It really is a comprehensive approach. If we try to boil it all down, maybe 4 core takeaways really capture the essence of mastering your time based on these principles.
Okay, let's hear them. Takeaway number 1.
Productivity isn't just about being busy. It's about strategically channeling your limited energy into the right tasks, the most important ones, during your peak times. And that requires ruthlessly eliminating distractions.
Right. Energy, timing, focus on importance. Got it. Number 2.
Time is incredibly valuable, maybe our most valuable asset. So, stop wasting precious present energy dwelling on past regrets or worrying endlessly about future what-ifs. Focus your full intention and effort on making the present moment count, applying lessons learned and executing your plans today.
Own the present. Okay. 3.
You have to use your time effectively by taking complete, unapologetic responsibility for your choices and your schedule. That means ditching that limiting "I don't have time" excuse and consciously committing your energy only to tasks that genuinely align with your core values and your long-term macro life goals.
Responsibility alignment, ditch the excuses. Makes sense. And the final one, number 4.
Maximize and multiply your time's value. Seek help when needed, don't try to do it all, master the fundamentals of your key skills, and be incredibly smart about how you use your resources, save, invest, and always evaluate purchases based on their true time cost, not just their dollar cost.
It really comes back to that. You cannot get time back. It's the ultimate finite resource. Use every moment, every micro-life wisely. Strive for genuine effectiveness day in, day out. That consistent conscious effort seems to be the key to exerting real control over your life and your future.
Absolutely. So perhaps a final thought for everyone listening, something to really chew on, building on that micro-life and urgency idea. If your micro-life today was perfectly aligned with your true purpose, what is the one single skill, the 20% action that promises 80% of the results for you that you will commit to practicing consistently every single day, starting right now, aiming to see exponential, undeniable progress in the next 90 days? What's your 90-day skill sprint? Get that urgency working for you.